Hello everyone, it is day 34 of going all in on day trading until I'm profitable. Today it is Monday, 7:30 a.m. We got school today and a little recap of last week. So we came out of last week in 450 profit, which is not a bad week. We had 2 wins and 1 loss. So definitely cannot complain at last week. Because it was a pretty good week. It was an alright week. So going into this week, I'm gonna guess it's not gonna be as good as last week. Like my expectations just are not. I have no expectation for this week. Like I have not. Maybe that's negative because the thing is, when you have like a really bad week the week before, you always think, and not just like personally, like the market has a really bad week before, you always think like, or I always think like, oh shit, it's probably not going to change this week. But then when we have a really good week in the market the week before, I also think, oh well, it's not going to be the same this week. So, to be completely honest, I don't think it's going to be good, but I can't control what the market's going to be like. So there's no point really giving a shit about, oh, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Like, what the fuck am I meant to do about that? You know? But the one thing I can do is control my emotions and not take any stupid trades, which I didn't last week, which I was really happy with. But one thing I did want to kind of talk about was the situation with the payouts. So I'm one winning day away from being rhyming and shit. It's too early to be rhyming, bro. I'm one winning day away from getting a payout or being eligible for a payout, right? And I've been thinking like, oh, I'm gonna take a payout as soon as possible, but bro, if I think I'm a consistent trader, I should not be taking a payout ASAP. Because if I know that I've actually something's, if I know I'm ready to be profitable, I shouldn't be just be taking the smallest payout. I shouldn't be winning my next trade, making like let's just say 400, making 400 and then going, yeah, I'm gonna take a payout now. Because first off, that's gonna fuck up my account, and second, I'm not even gonna be able to. I'll be able to buy one account. So all I'm gonna do with a $200 payout anyway is buy fucking one account and then most likely lose this account because I'll have $200 more in drawdown. So that situation's like, I might as well chill, you know? The whole point of trading is not to just make a quick profit, like, yeah, we need a profit. We need a profit this week and we're going to take it because it might disappear. Like, no, bro. There's no point in just taking one quick profit. It's, you're in this game to be consistently profitable. And this is one of those moments where I'll probably need 2, potentially 3 more winning days before I take a payout because my account is at flat break even right now. So we'll just see how it goes. We'll just take it day by day, week by week. Maybe this week will be good. I'd hope so, but maybe not. Like I said, I have no control of that. But I'm going to finish up this cardio and then do some stretching. So we just had some beginner dude join the Discord, and it made me think, like, beginners always think this shit's easy, and it's crazy because like last June I was in that exact same position. Like, you get like a chain of winning days, you don't really have a back-tested strategy, and you think this shit's easy. I'm built different. I come from a different breed. Yeah. But soon the beginners will be humbled. But it's not just this one guy. I had a conversation with someone who literally wrote, wow, this stuff's so easy. Literally all you have to do is no, he didn't even say that. He said literally all you have to do is stick to your rules, journal, and keep going. And like, he's not wrong, but I just thought it was funny how he was explaining it like it was a piece of cake. Like, no, bro. No. Like, it sounds like that, but one thing I realised the other day is there's so many people I used to talk to from the Discord, which is in the description if you want to join, by the way. But there's so many people I used to talk to who I haven't spoken to in months. And you realise, like, oh shit, they're like part of the 99% of people who start and then drop off. So, it sounds easy once you're in that beginner stage. And there's just something about beginner's luck, man. I think everyone gets it. Just that stroke of beginner's luck. They think they're on top of the world. I remember I made 200 profit on my 200 account, doubled that shit. I was telling everyone, bro. Telling fucking everyone, and then it went the next week. But why was that? It was because I didn't have a strategy. And I was placing about 7 trades a day. I was kind of taking signals off a friend. And I had no risk management. And my psychology was in the bin because as soon as I'd lose one trade, I would just start taking a million more. But that was good though, because it made me realise, like, okay, next time going into it, what can I do better? And it was super obvious, because I was like, alright, first thing, strategy. I need a proper strategy. Because I was learning off Nick Sean's strategy, but I just never fully understood it, and it was like hedging and support and resistance. I never really understood it, so I was like, alright, found TGR, boom, we got the strategy down. And I guess that was the main thing, and then over time, that was like an immediate thing I could implement. But then, it's taken 8 months of improving my psychology to get to a point where I can almost get a payout. And my psychology still needs to be improved as well. I think everyone's does at every stage. Obviously, there gets to a point where you don't, you're like at the top. You're making consistent profits, but obviously for me right now, still need better psychology. But I just think it's interesting. Like, if you're a beginner and you think you fucking nailed it, and you think, yeah, this is it, just consider the facts. Do I have an actual strategy that I've tested? Do I revenge trade all the time? Because if you do, you might just be getting lucky for that 1 or 2 weeks. You might be just getting lucky. The overtrading and revenge trading is going your way. And do I have risk management? Because if you have just had a spree of winning days, and you take one losing day, that can just wipe out your whole account. Which a spree of winning days is very possible, and for 1 week. So I guess just consider that. And just remember, your luck will run out. So do not get too happy. Right, I'm gonna finish this up. Eat, school, trading. Alright everyone, so this clip is of me from school today. I'm in geography, it is period 6. Luckily, by the time the macro started, the software that we use for like schoolwork, it was like the software was down or the school Wi-Fi was bugging. So he literally gave up for the last 15 minutes of the lesson, which meant I could trade. Unfortunately, as you'll see later, I still did a pretty fucked up move, but it was ideal. However, I was like, I'm not even trying to be funny. The fact that I was bursting for a shit and a piss at the same time really did not help with the trading psychology. For some reason at the moment, every time it hits 2 o'clock until 3 o'clock, I need a shit. You guys who watch the streams will know from the last 2 weeks that I need to take like 10 pisses and 4 shits every stream. I don't know what it is. I have my own theory behind why it happens, but it is really annoying. As soon as I'm trying to trade, I need a shit. But I'm trying to condition myself out of that somehow. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this clip in school. I ended up taking the trade walking back from school and then went live. But if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Link in description. Alright, so here is a time lapse of the stream. I ended up taking a trade, but I still wanted to go live, so we ended up going live. I didn't end up taking another trade, but you guys will see the full trade I took in the post-market analysis, like in half a minute. But the reason I went live was A, I was thinking about taking a second trade, but B, I just wanted to stay accountable because the stream, because you get some mad people hating and some people, like, even though I don't want them to take the trades I take, and I'm going to get the piss taken if I take a shit trade, another shit trade, so it was more just to stay accountable to if I do take another trade, make sure it's not shit because it's live, and I do not want to take anything shit live. So that was kind of the reason. There's no other reason to go live, really. But yeah, on to the post-market analysis. Post-market analysis. We took a loss. Let's get into it. So, we'll start on the 4 hour, I guess. So the 4 hour bias was bearish. Reason being, we just took out these highs here. I was looking for longs, but we hit these highs pre-macro, so I didn't end up trading into them. I was basically bearish until we hit this gap here, which the bottom of this 4 hour gap was also more or less London lows. It was more or less London lows. So I was bearish to London lows, right? That was the idea. So we went on the 5 minute, and where is the macro? The macro is 950 here. We broke structure, as you can see. Break a structure, boom. And then we create a fair value gap here, which we retrace into the immediate candle. On the 1 minute, we had an IFVG here, so I basically just entered off that shit. Stops were actually there. I wasn't really too annoyed with the stops. What I was annoyed with was the fact I even entered that, because on NQ, the reason I didn't see the 1 hour S&T on NQ was because I was walking back from school. Now, that's not a good excuse, I should still be more aware. But on NQ, we had just taken out London lows, so that could be a reason, although I was really bearish, and I did expect, I was obviously right with the bearish outlook. A big issue that was part of the trade is, I mean, I could have had there's a multitude of things I could have done to fix this trade. I could have had my stop loss accounting for the 2 5-minute gaps, but to be honest, I don't really like taking trades that have that big of stop loss. I quite like the shorter ones. As you can see, we just slowly chopped up to stop loss. The main thing is, which my friend was telling me about, was the third candle of this fair value gap, if I just delete everything. Candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. This third candle with the hard close, with the huge wick on the bottom and the hard close, doesn't look probable that price is going to hold here. So ideally, I should have waited probably for, I mean, you could have waited for this to get tagged, but then that gets inversed, and it's like, I don't know. It just looks like a trade that shouldn't have been taken. If anything today, obviously, my bearish bias ended up being right, but there was a ton of chop before it ended up going bearish. I could have re-entered here, but I wanted another inverse of a fair value gap. The only entry that I was seriously considering was down here, and this would have played out. Fair value gap, wait for the fucking 1 minute to go bearish, would have shit the bed. However, this ended up playing out at 11:40. So it's like, do I want to trade at 11:40? Matter of fact, I think it was 11:45 it ended up playing. The entry would have been like 11:45 to 12:15. So do I really want to trade that late into AM session? look, it would be taking a second trade and it would be way after. Like, ideally, I want to be done trading by 11. I'm fine pushing it to half 11, but 11 is really when it's like, alright, let's think about heading off now. 11:45, no. Although it would have played out, that's breaking my rules, so building bad habits. And I'd already taken a trade, so, you know, at my stage I'm in, I shouldn't be taking 2 trades a day. But I think ultimately I just shouldn't have even taken that trade due to the main reason, which I'm aware of, and now I'm aware of the reasons I've been suggested with like the big bullish third candle on the fair value gap. The main one is the bullish S&T for me. I just shouldn't have even taken a trade here, but the account is in 350 drawdown, which isn't bad. I'm risking 350 a trade. 1 mini, so that's chill. But anyway, hopefully we'll be back tomorrow, get a bit of profit. If not, whatever, bro. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow.